What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ISEE for IVERIC Bio. On the left-hand side, we are looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. These guys did get some grant approval in the after hours, and it's causing some after hours activity. So let's throw on the extended hours session, see what's going on with the news, essentially. As you know, I'm more of a technician here and not so much a fundamental analyst, so we'll discuss numbers here and not so much theory around that grant approval. Anyways, assuming that we will be opening on a gap up, considering we're currently trading around $13.20 and today's high, let's just map that in quickly, right around $9, we'll call it for round numbers sake. So a lot can happen between now and 9:30, but for the sake of today's video, we'll assume that the open is around here 13.25 and that the overnight high remains up around 14.79. This is going to give us a framework that we can use regardless of where these numbers are by the time 9:30 comes around tomorrow. So if we open here, we have to, again, we're opening on a gap up. We have to assume that there could be the potential for a gap and trap, meaning that if we fail to take out the overnight high, trade back down through the open, you're looking for a short to start to fill the gap back down towards 9, today's high of day. But before we get ahead of ourselves, right, are we actually going to short this thing? Absolutely not. There are no shares to short, or it's hard to borrow anyways, and the put side volume here on the options is just laughable, right? Certainly some good open interest, but the actual volume that went through, you're not going to trade this with any type of serious size to make it worth your while. So back over to the charts before we talk about the full gap fill, because that is quite a ways underneath. Certainly we should point out that there will be a bump in the road here at 1070, the all-time high pivot area from right in here before this downturn really developed. So keep that in mind as a potential half gap fill. Monitor, see what's going on at that number before you give up hope here. If you start seeing signs of reversal, right, something like this, hammer candles, indecision dojis, anything that would basically make you question, is this pullback coming to an end here? Can we flip long over the highs? Then you're going to target some of the upside levels, which we have overhead. So that would be the open, the overnight high, maybe the high of day, depending on what happened on the open, right? Those would be the numbers that you start looking at, and that would stem from a potential reversal here at the prior all-time high if the gap does not fill all the way. Now, the flip side of this coin, and the one that I'm sure a lot more people are rooting for, is the gap and go, right? So if we open here, consolidate, maybe put in a bullish pattern like a bull flag here, take out the overnight high, you're basically looking at blue sky territories here because there's no structure overhead. So on something trading sub 20, you're probably looking at 50-cent marks, whole dollars, maybe quarter marks, but if momentum is strong enough, really just pay attention to those half dollars and whole dollars as we move into blue sky territories. The last thing I'll leave you with before I sign off is the fact that if we just scrunch the chart up, this is not one of those biotechs that has a history of huge pumps and huge dumps. No, instead, it's fairly reasonable activity here, right? We have nice trend higher, little pullback, nice trend higher, little pullback, so on and so forth. So it's really, again, it's just reasonable. It doesn't strike me as one of these things that has the propensity for pump and dump type schemes. It's actually been in a fairly respectable trend in the past. Now, that doesn't mean that you're just going to jump in blindly long because I said that. You still have to wait for one of those two frameworks to pan out, as we discussed in the earlier part of today's video. So if you enjoyed it, certainly let me know down below in the comments section, or if you learned anything new, let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.